Hello! Shoyan here. I'm a carpenter based in Japan. Today, I'm working on the Uchi no Rimono. I install Kamoi and a Shoji frame in this small, cute tatami room. When working on exposed wood, I clean the square first. Since the pencil lead is attached to the square, the eraser works better than the towel. Today, I'm working on the Uchi no Rimono. It means a frame at the top and bottom of Japanese sliding doors or screens. The top is called a Kamoi, and the bottom is called a shiki. They are installed at an Oshiire, entrance, and gawa, in front of the sliding windows. I first measure the height of the Kamois. In modern buildings, doorways are of varying heights. In the old days, it was tall if it measured 1800 millimeters. Modern buildings measure from 1900 millimeters to 2 meters. This room has a 2 meters high doorway. The front left Oshiire is 1900 millimeters high. On the right side, there will be a Tokonoma. For Tokonoma, it is called Otoshigake instead of Kamoi. Otoshigake can be installed in various ways. For example, we can use a tie beam called nageshi. In a basic installation with no other materials, Otoshigake is installed 3 fingers above the top of the next Kamoi. I cut all the mortises in this room. The half-thickness exposed timber for the kamoi is attached to the pillar. The room's wall style will be like a mix of shinkabe and okabe. Some columns are exposed, but others are not. It's a bit confusing, but this Japanese-style room will be finished like that. Nowadays, it's not called a Japanese-style room. Instead, it's called a tatami room, which is ambiguous. I have finished cutting the mortise, so now I install kamois, starting from the doorway. The length of the doorway kamoi is about 3 meters, and it has 3 groups. 3 sliding doors will be installed. 2 of them can be opened. It seems the owner is not going to install doors for a while, and will leave the living room and this room open. Now, I trace the pillar's shape and measure the kamoi's length. We call this process hikaru. This plastic tool supporting the kamoi is officially called a kamoi stopper. We have called this a hanyaku ever since the old days. The apprentice was told to hold this. The apprentices roll. Half experience roll. I think that's where it came from. Hanyaku didn't exist when I was an apprentice. We made a simple one using wood and attached a large wedge to it. We placed a kamoi on it and traced the pillar's shape. I wonder why it's called kamoi, a duck residence. This theory applies only to kamois with 2 grooves. When the kamoi is cut, its shape resembles a flying bird. That theory seems plausible, but there are many others as well. I also wonder about the theory of the torii in the shrine. Shrine is bird, and house is duck. According to one theory, a duck is a waterfowl, so people warded off potential fire by using the word duck. Well, I wonder if it's true. I cut the 6 to 7mm length tenon on the Kamoi. If the timber has grooves like this, I cut the shoulders on 3 sides, bottom, left, and right. The shoulder is called dozuki in Japanese. It's a flat surface that attaches to a pillar. The kamois are made of hardwood cedar. Each one is 55mm, which is a little thicker than usual. Kamois are normally 45mm thick, but this house's frames, including kamois, are 55mm thick. This is because hanging sliding doors will be installed. If the kamois were 45mm, screws would not secure well enough to the top railing. This is why all the kamois in this house are 55mm thick, and materials are standardized with the same hardwood high-quality cedar. I have used a super surfacer for the kamois, but I finish it again just in case. Since there are 3 grooves in the kamoi, it is very easy to plane. Only a few areas need to be planed. With normal sliding doors, I usually chamfer the groove of the kamoi, but if a hanging sliding door is used, I don't chamfer it because the rails will be installed on top and there will be a gap. Now, I make a pole jack. The kamoi will be in an especially high space, and the dozashi will be directly above it. It's hard to expand that area. To forcefully expand the space between the pillars, I'm going to use a jack horizontally. I use a Japanese cypress hardwood joist to make the jack, so the force can be applied effectively and it won't warp. I temporarily loosen the bolt on the structural column and expand the space as much as possible. Now, I install the kamoi. I have notched one side to insert the kamoi. If the space expands a little, I can insert it. I can only notch the attached column if the wall is okabe. A shinkabe shouldn't be notched. Okabe means all the columns are hidden by a wall. Shinkabe means the columns remain exposed on the wall. I install trim above the kamoi to separate the top okabe from the underside. I just need to screw it diagonally from the top to secure it. Now I have finished installing the doorway kamoi. I start installing the Otoshigake from the Tokonoma on the front. I won't cut a shoulder on the bottom of the Otoshigake because it doesn't have grooves. I cut a 15mm tenon on both sides of the edges. This Otoshigake is about only 1300mm long. It is 55mm thick, and both sides of the tenons are 6 to 7mm long. It's too long to fit in place, so I moved the center pillar a little. Even if the top tenon of this pillar is cut, there will be no problem with the structural strength. In this case, I insert the Kamoi into the Tokonoma side pillar first, then apply pressure from the Oshiire side. You can install the Kamoi from the back only if it is for an Oshiire. I cut the shoulder only in the front and join it. This is the easiest way to install it. When installing the Uchi no Rimono, the Oshiire will be last because I can install it from the back. Next, I install the frame for the Shoji in front of the sliding windows. The frame depth in this house is unified at 300mm. A shoji is a sliding paper door that lets sunlight in. There is another sliding paper door called a fusuma, but it doesn't let sunlight through. A fusuma is used as a partition that divides the interior, and is also used as the Oshiire door. As well as letting sunlight in, the shoji insulates and partitions the area. It's similar to frosted glass. Generally, if it is for a shoji in front of sliding windows, the mortise is not cut on the frame. For both the Kamoi and the shiki, I use butt joints. In front of the shiki, there is a thick tatami. Shoji frames are different from the window sash frames, so their installation might seem complicated, but the basic way is just to cut, screw, and fit it. On the right side, the pillar and the attached timber are slightly warped inside in the middle, so I chisel off and plane that part. Since I can't screw it from the other side after it has been positioned, I assemble and screw 4 sides of the frame first. I think the frame will fit very tight and snugly. Now, I install the frame. I spray urethane foam between the lintel and the window sash. Because the right hand attached timber can't be screwed, I glue it in place. It fits very tightly, just as I thought it would. Because the plastic angle is used, it's difficult to install. An aluminum angle will slide in well since it's hard. A plastic angle can warp when installed. I install it carefully. a screws angle, and the frame is completed. I have finished installing the Kamoi, and the Shoji frame is a tatami room. I will build the Tokonoma and Oshiire next time. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.